Seriously, now want to start the show. It's now
Yeah,
good.
I want to start the show now. Hi,
Can you hear
everybody.
me?
Hi, everybody. Yeah,
Like
you haven't seen me cursing out my guest today because he was late, okay? What's the date? February 24th, 2021. We're only starting 7 minutes late. It happens sometimes. Sometimes I screw up too. Okay.
It was horrible. It was horrible. Nothing was working.
Yeah. Let me finish, okay? This guy's name is Iwan Gulenko. Have I got it right? Iwan Gulenko? Yes. Okay, but why do you spell it with a W? On Twitter, he's IWANGULENKO. Why Iwan? I don't like that. Why do you have that?
Actually, this is the North American spelling of the Russian, Cyrillic equivalent. So there is a way to have it with a V, but my mom decided to take the American way.
Your mom took the wrong way. No, Iwan is not the American way. I live in North America. Ivan, like in Ivanhoe. Okay, I'm telling you to change it, but you do whatever you want. Okay, that's up to you. Okay, so here I'm going to do the introduction. Okay, I follow him a long time on Twitter. He's a very interesting guy. He used to be a programmer. Now he's a tech recruiter in Switzerland. Okay, I don't know what city. What city are you in?
Zurich.
Zurich. Okay, that's the capital. Okay, I was going to ask if you want to plug anything, but we're starting late already. So what I'm going to do is you can plug something later on. Let's just get right into it, okay? You wrote on Twitter, 100% of the men I know in recruiting are consistently mean and do idiotic things while women stay professional and rational. I mean, I don't understand that. Can you say why you've said such a radical, inflammatory thing?
Just let's say sample size that I have basically has the data points in it that like people that are like male, they tend to
freak out. You are wrong. Okay?
I don't know why that is, but maybe it applies only to like internal recruiters.
I don't like these. All the guys, all the guys are mean. Okay, I see all kinds of smears on men. Okay, we're not that bad. Okay,
I think it has to do with the pain tolerance.
You're incriminating yourself. Let's move on. Let's move on. Okay. Does a recruiter need a brand? Something real practical. You wrote a book, an ebook for programmers. You put a lot of career tips for programmers on YouTube. Okay, you're very active on Twitter with all kinds of tips. Okay, and do those media campaigns, that media marketing, that content marketing actually, does that deliver any kinds of measurable rewards? Do you know if you're successful in it? Is there any way for you to know?
So basically I started this when like COVID started, right? So really go into like, okay, now I'm gonna do like a lot
No. You only started last March with COVID? That's not true.
No, to make like a lot of, let's say, like to make Twitter like super professionally and really like to write a lot on Twitter. Like I started, you're right, it's like 2 years ago maybe, but like the really like say surprise was, as you said, like with the book and writing stuff online and so on, and people seem to like it because people like crave information about like hiring and how do I
like it. Do you get any feedback? I see myself retweeting you a lot, but I don't see any other retweets. I must be your #1 retweeter.
Well, you certainly have like a huge following. That's definitely
I don't have a huge following. I got to tell everybody something in case they're idiots and don't know. Okay, I'm not calling you a name. Okay, on Twitter, when you see how many people follow someone, that's all social media numbers are such bullshit. I've been on Twitter since like 2007 or 2008. I mean, half those accounts are now dormant. And then there's another 25% of them that are irrelevant. Okay, they're people who just follow you for no reason and then never look at your stuff. They're not your real audience. So if I've got 25,000 followers, if I've got 5,000 real live relevant followers, that would be good news. Okay. And there's other people, they'll advertise themselves all the time and say, oh, there's 20,000 people listening to me every day. That's not true. That's not true. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's nice that I retweet you, but don't count on me. Okay. No one else is retweeting you. What's your sign?
That's a lie. That's a lie. You're crazy. You haven't, you totally.
Yeah, all of your tweets are 10, they're 10 deep replies and answers and stuff like that. I want to know, well, let's go to your YouTube videos. They're pretty good.
Thank you.
How do you know that do you ever get candidates and say, yeah, Ivan, I want you to work. I want to work with you. Or a client that says, yeah. Or when you phone people up, this is the thing. This is the claim that if you're doing this media content marketing, that when you call someone up, it's now a warm call. It's no longer a cold call. Oh yeah, Ivan, I see he's a good guy. Yeah, I've seen him a lot. I've never talked to him, but now I'm going to that he's contacting me. Does that happen to you?
So basically, for the first, so like essentially my recruiting like career started with the fact that I started this like writing stuff online. So this is how I actually stumbled in the whole recruiting world. So I came to Switzerland. I was like, okay, I'm coding all day. What do I do during the evening? Okay, I go to meetups, events, meet a lot of companies, a lot of people. So networking is normal if you go to a new city and you don't know anyone and you're like, okay, how do I make friends and stuff? So the first, like, let's say 2 years in Zurich, I was basically going to every meetup from Monday to Thursday.
Why?
Because I wanted to meet people and network and stuff. And I was like writing about Zurich.
You were a programmer at that time, not a recruiter.
Yeah. Yep.
Exactly. Were you looking for a job? Why were you going?
I wanted to learn about programming because I was like a junior developer and I was like, okay, like what do other people do? So I went to hackathons, meetups, conferences, and then I started at the same time blogging and saw that like,
you know what? I'm over here. Don't look at the ceiling.
And then I started to find out that, hey, okay, like companies want profiles, right? So I started a blog and then I got a CVs actually. And the first few placements, as you call them, I did for free. I didn't even know like there is such a thing as like,
you had a blog and some dopes just started sending you their resume.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I wrote, hey, I came to Zurich. It's really awesome here because like the salaries are pretty high, the taxes are super low. Like I like it here. And then people were like, hey, I want to move to Switzerland too because now I'm in San Francisco and my life sucks and I want to be closer to Europe, my family, yada yada. And then this was like the first placement, and I was like, hey, why, like companies like require this service, so maybe I can do like more in this field. And then I did like the first 2-3 years. Actually without calling anybody up because like I didn't like, so the first year I did part-time, right? So I had like a normal job. I went to my boss. I said, okay, I want to like try this recruiting thing on the side. And they said, yes, that's fine with us. And well, this is how then like step by step it developed like to something I could do full-time. But I really did so many mistakes. If you would like know this, you would love your ass.
What are your mistakes? Tell us, what are the mistakes? But how did you get business? How did you? So
I told the company like, can I like send you like profiles? Like,
hold on a sec. Okay, so I'm Joe Blow. That's a standard like name in San Francisco. Okay, I want to come home to Switzerland. So I say, well, there's Ivan's in Switzerland. I'm going to send him my resume out of the blue. He's not even a recruiter, but just in case he knows somebody, I'm sending him the resume. You get the resume. What do you do with it? What did you do with it?
So like so this literally happened, and I was like, hey, I know this Python company, and like, so I wrote to the Python company, hey, I have this really good guy, like how like does it work? Should I like, and they're like, yeah, sure, like we can like, compensate you. And then I was like, this is an interesting thing.
You didn't even ask for money, they just offered it.
I don't remember the details. Or did you pose as
did you tell them already from the very start you were a recruiter, or did you just say, hey, I know this guy, maybe you'll be interested in him, and they thought you were a recruiter? No, okay, so you telling a different story now. You decided right away, I got a resume, this is money, I'm gonna charge for this person. That's what happened, right?
I don't. I would have to look it up. I don't remember, but it could be both. I don't remember. But actually, like, I mean,
I'm a hard-hitting interviewer. I don't buy that. This guy telling two different stories. I can't say I understood what really happened, but at least very soon after he started getting these resumes, he realized there was a buck in this. And then I assume once he started doing okay, he said, I'm going to go into this full time. How do you get that? So let's talk about business development right off the start. I didn't plan on this, but how do you get business? How at the start, how did you start to say, oh, I've got these resumes. These people are half decent. How am I going to find customers for? What did you do?
No, so yeah, so the very first like referral stuff, it was literally just this like I'm a random guy, because like I like in Switzerland you cannot just say, hey, I'm a recruiter, I will like charge the usual fees. That's not possible. So like the first thing was literally just like they paid this normal, like friend recommend friend stuff and so on. So basically how it really started like was that then company, like I talked with companies on meetups and they were like, okay, like help us out, and then actually had to register a company and get the Swiss recruitment permit.
What? I got a rule on
another,
this show.
Another
don't blab on endlessly, because I got no attention. I can't listen to that. You lost me 30 seconds ago. I don't know a thing about what you said. Okay.
So you cannot just
hey, if I learn how to edit these videos, that's going to be out. Okay. So here's the thing. The guy stumbled into this. Now he's a recruiter. How do you get business now?
I just keep like working with my existing couple of companies. I try to actually not get new business at all.
So you've only got a few clients.
Yeah, so like 10, like constantly, like not like really, really constantly where it's active, maybe 3, 4, 5 max. And then
are
10,
they giant
12,
companies? Are they?
No, like small, like for Switzerland, like 400 people is a giant company. So I try to stay like super small.
What's super small? 5 people? That can't support you.
No, so like the company sizes is between like 20 and 400 people, like the companies, and they're hiring like.
He's slippery, folks. He's slippery. You got to nail him down. Oh, 400 people. That's gigantic.
That's like gigantic for Switzerland.
That's who his clients are. That's who his clients are. Okay, so
I have one client who's on the stock market too. So there's like, but they're not hiring all the time.
So you're not even looking. You're not even looking for new business. But how did you get? Let me try to. I'm begging you. How did you get these clients that you've got? Okay.
I'm a coder and like I know a lot of people. Like, do you want to?
Well, from the meetups, you called your pals from the meetups.
Right. That's how it started. Yeah.
Okay.
So my pitch is basically
Took me 10 minutes, everybody. 10 minutes to figure out how this guy got into recruiting. Sorry. I'm good, but not that good. Okay.
Actually, like to really tell you the really, really, really long story, the first time where I thought about like headhunting and recruiting, it's a very, very funny story. And if I tell it, you'll think I'm crazy or something. So basically,
you know I see how you tell stories. It's too long. Okay. Okay. So the way I asked this started, I said, does a recruiter need a brand? Okay. I'm going to guess that you think yes. And that's why you're putting all this stuff out onto the web. Yes, you need a brand, but you can't prove to me that all the effort you're putting into the stuff, and I like his stuff, everybody. You might sound like the sound of my voice, I'm criticizing him. I'm criticizing him because he's not answering me directly. He puts out a lot of good stuff. Is it getting him anywhere? I can't tell from his answer. Next question. Are you ready? Sure. Ivan. Okay, well, Ivan, okay, speed versus quality. You said 2 things, and I posted them on my Facebook group today. 2 different tweets from you. They seem to be contradictory to me, okay? Everybody says I'm wrong about everything, so maybe you can show me where I'm wrong. You said, I used to think it was important to send a full profile of a candidate with all the boxes checked, okay? But what's actually important is be the first. Be directionally right. I'm not sure what that means about the fit. To me, it sounds like have a good feeling about the person. Maybe he or she is good. And then you said assessments are subjective, even in tech. So you're pulling the rug out from under your own feet. You're saying, look, I can't really tell if this is a good candidate, but if it seems like he or he's good or she's good, man, get that resume in there fast, but because that's what counts. Okay, that's what it sounds like you're saying. But you also said this in another tweet. I celebrate all my clients who believe that my service is superior to the CV forwarding practice that is prevalent in the tech recruitment industry. It means I'm better because I deliver quality. I don't just shove the resume out there. Okay, I see that as a contradiction. Go ahead. Tell me where I'm wrong.
That's totally a contradiction, 100%. Because like when I started, it was really like, okay, I need to put like this 1 bazillion details, but like sometimes some companies, they don't care about this. And this was my mistake to impose on them. Like, okay, yeah, you have to care about all these details.
Like what? What details?
Like,
this is a show where we go.
Like, for example, I made like a programming like exercise, like, you know, 1 hour video recording with this guy, like proving that the person can write Java like super well. And the company says,
you did a whiteboard. You did your own whiteboard test.
Yeah, like basically a coding, like we coded together and like we recorded it and stuff. The company, like some companies didn't give a fuck. They're like, fuck you, like we don't care, like we don't care. Like all
that's the English he knows. He knows how to say fuck on this show. Well, which I don't say. Okay, go ahead.
We don't care. And then I'm like, okay, like some companies do care, like a bit of my notes about like the technical details about the person, but some don't. So I also like how much do I like the candidate. So this is like the effort really varies. And with some candidates now, like because the tweets you just quoted, they are half a year apart. And I notice how like I develop as a recruiter. I was like half a year ago, I was like so every half a year I look back and I think I'm a shitty idiot moron. This is like, I think, the sign that I develop, I suppose. Like every half a year, really, I look back, I'm like, I'm an idiot. Half a year ago, I'm an idiot. I hope that in half a year, it will be the same. So basically.
Don't forget, all these clients and candidates, let's hope, you know, this is a recruiting animal show. He doesn't have to worry about anybody actually seeing this.
No, they should see that.
I was crap. I was offering everybody a crap
I tell
service.
clients sometimes. I used to tell clients. I'm like, actually, I have no clue about recruiting. Like, I'm a coder, you know, I'm really a shitty recruiter. And they're like, hey, we thought you like this recruiting like superstar. I'm like, I think I'm actually I actually went once with a client, like this was 12 months ago. I was like, so this was a new like hire, an internal recruiter. I'm like, yeah, you're like in this 5 years. Actually, I don't really know how to recruit. Like, can we somehow like find people?
Hold on, let me go to one of my key questions for you. You know what? I'm going to do an ad. I'm going to do an ad today for myself, okay? I put a lot of effort, just like him, but stupider than him. I am dumber than him, okay? I put out a lot of content there, like this show, for recruiters, because I like it. It's fun. I don't recruit recruiters. They don't pay me anything, okay? But I'm trying to make a few bucks. I joined a split board. That means if you've got a candidate and you don't have a good job for the person, or the reverse, you can go to this split board and try to find some other recruiter who can work with you on a job so you can split the fee and make some money, make a placement. The good thing is, I don't know if it's worthwhile, but you can go there for 60 days, 2 months, and check it out, and you'll see for yourself if it's worthwhile. There's no long-term commitment. So, you know, it's recruitingsplits.com. Recruitingsplits.com. It's not for these guys in Switzerland. It's primarily for the United States. Canada is included. Okay. Ernie Marino. Anyway, that's my ad, recruitingsplits.com. Okay. It's the first time I've ever done it here. So that's why it's so long. Okay. Now, Ernie's a good guy. Okay. And he's going to grill you if I'm not tough enough. And he's laid back. He's a little more laid back than me. But Ivan, here's the key question. What you just said, I'm not a recruiter. I don't know anything. But in fact, you have functional experience. You have much more insight into what the job requires and what the candidate can do than 99% of all recruiters in the world. Would you say that's true? Yes or no?
I hope so.
Are you praying? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So tell me, so you say you agree with what I just said. Now, can you show me, like in an intake session with a hiring manager, how that manifests itself? You know, the questions you ask, how are you better than other recruiters at getting the job description? And how, I want some examples of how have you been better than other recruiters at assessing a candidate? Like, you know, if I was recruiting a programmer right now, and I have done the odd search in IT, I don't know what questions to ask unless the hiring manager says, these are the questions you have to ask. Okay, Ernie fucked off. Okay, so bad. He's a good guy. Maybe he'll be back. Okay, so here's the thing. Show me how you're better as a person with very strong functional experience in the field you're recruiting in. If you start blabbing without any content, I'm just going to move on.
So with the hiring managers, it's usually they talk for 1 hour about the position, the company, why they're awesome. And
1 hour? How do you get
1 hour? 1 fucking hour? Yeah, there's some of them.
These
yeah,
guys,
terrible.
okay, I don't know about Switzerland, but
I love the small company.
No,
like,
let me. I'm the boss here. Okay?
You get 5 minutes briefing, if at all, right?
Yeah,
you get, like,
5 minutes.
You get nothing. You get nothing. Here are the job descriptions. Read them. Fuck off.
Yeah,
like, go away.
Yeah. How do you get an hour? How do you get an hour out of this?
But not with everyone. There are companies who are like that. Like 5 minutes before, like we started this, I got like an email, like just look at this, like, you know, because I try to like see, okay, can I work with new companies? But then they like, okay, this is the job descriptions, read them. And I mean, this is like a comparatively shitty client, right? I mean, the good clients, they're like, okay, we get you
Look
1
at the
hour.
English, this guy, shit and fuck. He can say that, okay? Now listen.
Real American.
Let me ask you, I'm not American.
But concrete example.
No, let me ask you something. But as a functional recruiter, isn't that like, for me, if they gave me a job description, I'd be confused in your field. But if they give it to you, you're a programmer, that's all you need, isn't it? What more? You don't need an hour.
They're really shit. Like they're extremely. I mean, the job descriptions, same as CVs, right? They are really shit. So
why? Why? It's coming from a tech company. Why?
Because they copy paste stuff. They don't put the effort into write like something new. I thought in the beginning they'll do that, like, but nobody does that. That's literally, I have not seen a good job description in the last 5 years. I believe maybe one.
Why? Yeah. Hold on. If I'm in a tech company, especially a startup where you know, it's a small company, so you know that maybe the hiring manager writes it herself or the CEO, who knows? Okay, but they understand the field. You understand the field. I don't understand why there could be any kind of miscommunication. You guys just need a thumbnail sketch. That's all. They have to give you some basic idea, and that's all you need. But you're telling me, no, I'm wrong. Even you need a detailed description. You didn't tell me why. And they are unable. Just like I always say, hiring managers are the stupidest people in the world. They ask this guy to go out and find someone for them, and they don't give him the information he needs. Or is that a failing on your part? Sorry, now I criticize the guy for being so wordy. Now I'm wordy myself. I'm sorry, everybody. Sorry. There's nobody to cut me off. Look, it's only him, and he's new. He's too new to be aggressive towards me like all the regulars, okay? Okay, so what's going on? Why are the hiring managers giving you bad information? What's wrong with it?
No, some do. Like, so hiring managers in my context is always like a tech person. So it's like a programmer who became like a team lead, and he is now hiring for the team, or she's hiring for the team, and that is like usually amazing. So this person, even better if it's a founder and CTO, this is the best because they are really passionate. Like they really describe the company like in a long meeting, right? And my job, and why I think I give like better value, I distill this to a 5-minute pitch, literally, to the candidate with the key points, the technologies, the team, why it's awesome to work there, like how it's better than their current job, how exactly it meets what they want in their next job. So that is kind of my value proposition. And okay. The candidate.
You just said a bunch of things that I can never say. I'm a generalist. I can't say, you know, this is better than your current job because I don't understand what they do. I don't understand what they're going to do. I'm working on buzzwords. You actually understand how the job you're working on is better than the job they're in. You really can figure that out accurately. Am I right about that?
Yeah. If it's like, I mean, senior software developer, if it's like a CTO, maybe that's a bit too hard because I myself never was a CTO, right? So for me, it's a bit hard to assess like a CEO, CTO, exactly the fit-ish. Then I'm a little bit, let's say,
you're calling me up. You're calling me up. I'm Joe Programmer, or Jeanette programmer. My parents' names were Joe and Jeanette, okay? So anyway, or it programmer. These days, you don't have to have a gender, okay, or sex. So you call up this programmer and you say, look, I'm a headhunter. I'm working on this position. Happy where I am. You say, well, listen, just tell me a little bit about yourself for the sake of the future. That's what everyone tells us to do. You know, who knows? A year from now, we might want to do some work for me. So yeah, so Joe or Jeanette, they're telling you what they do. And you say, hey, wait a second, Joe, take a look at this job I'm working on. You'd be much happier at my clients than where you are now. Do you ever do that?
I cannot remember an instance because the people I call with, they are already warmed up. Like they already have some pain thing going on.
Why?
Or they just want to chat with me.
Why?
Like half of my career, why I was really sucked what I did like for half of my career because I was basically like a social worker. Like programmers would like have like a million problems and pain points, and I would just talk to them and then notice, okay, like nothing, like there is nothing happening that like improves my bottom line, right? So my bank account stays the same, but I help like a million people talk to them. So that's why I started like putting all the pain points that appear again and again and again in videos and tweets. So then I can just send people like, okay, here is the video answer, and I don't need to repeat it on the phone like 4 million times. So basically, yeah, I tried like basically all my, like 95% of my conversations are like with warmed up people that are somehow like complaining about something. But so I always have like a thing.
Wait. You don't know the people you're calling. PC Recruiter, everybody. They're still a client, but we're in negotiations. PC Recruiter, recruiting software. They love you, big or small. They help them all. Okay. It's very versatile. PCRecruiter.net. Hire Tool, HIRETUAL.com. It's the super duper sourcing tool that everybody loves. And Hone It, HONEIT, the online interview technology. And finally, staffingdebt.com. We'll get to this question, but if you have clients, if you're an agency recruiter and you have clients and they cheat you, okay, they say, oh, Ivan, I don't want this guy, no. And then you find out later on that your candidate is working there, staffingdebt.com will go get them. I didn't want to do a long ad for them, but I love that, okay? And they even have this software called backdoorhires.com that apparently reveals to you that they've screwed you, okay? So there's my ads for the day. And of course, Recruiting Splits, my own big money maker. I'll probably make nothing off of it. Neil Lebovitz, he talked me into spending the money. I had to spend twice as much as those guys in the States because I'm in Canada. Our Canadian dollars are worthless. Okay, back to my guest, Ivan. Okay, he's telling us that everybody he calls is a warm candidate. None of the candidates say, oh, another stupid recruiter. None of the candidates say, I'm happy where I am.
They do, but this is like basically written communication at this point then. Like, you
hold on. Okay, so let's go. Well, yeah, you're going to slip. He's going to slip. He's trying to slip away from this question. Okay. You approach people only by email. You don't make cold calls. Is that what you just said?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I suppose. I mean,
I suppose, but you don't know.
So linked. I mean, the usual like sourcing methods for tech recruitment is like LinkedIn, GitHub. Yeah, this is pretty much in Germany. There's another thing. Yeah, in German-speaking.
Okay, Europe, so no, but the way you approach the people, it's always in a written text. Is that what you're saying?
That's pretty.
And much they all want to move. Not one of them is unhappy with their job. Isn't that what you told us a few minutes ago?
Say again.
Okay. I said to you, where's my, oh, geez, I don't know if anyone can hear me. This is the microphone. The thing fell down. Last week with Amy, I thought, I was telling her she's too loud, and then I couldn't hear me in the recording. Ivan, you told us that, when you contact people, they're already warm, okay? What warm? So, you mean, does that mean that everybody you call is ready to make a move, or does it mean that the only people you actually talk to have been qualified or screened out via this written communication first? Am I right?
Yeah, the latter part. So like if there is like somebody connected with me, let's say in 2018 or something like that, and then like they comment something like on my post, and then maybe I can of course then say, hey, everything all right and stuff. And if they say yes, everything all right, then I'm not gonna call them, right? Maybe
No,
that's stupid. I
no,
mean,
no,
due to
no.
I should call them like I learned from your podcast from this Ross guy that I should be like much more, you know, much more doing much more activity actually. So I think
Ross.
I
Oh,
this guy with the cold
oh,
calling and everything, like the super
Rich.
professional
You mean Rich?
recruiter who's like, I do the preparation in the night and then I call people all day. This was
Rich
quite
Rosen.
amazing
Rich
to listen
Rosen.
to.
Yes, he should take lessons from Rich Rosen because
I
Rich
should
Rosen makes
make
a
a
million. He works on his own, just like you, and he makes $1 million a year. Okay. Now, you might not have been born with the wonderful kind of personality that Rich has. Okay. But you've got some advantages as well. Also, he's in sales. Maybe you can make more money in sales. I don't know. Or maybe you could upgrade.
I think it's actually easier to call, like this calling thing. Like I think that's actually a good point. So basically, this calling candidate, the candidates he has, like sales, this is like much. I like this is much based on call. Whereas tech and IT, like they would often just tell you like never call me and please just let's do this chat,
Okay. So that's a bad move.
WhatsApp or something like that. So this is the reason also.
Don't phone IT people. But here's
you can, but I mean,
wait a second. You know what? I don't know if I'm boring everybody. This is the kind of conversation I have in my real life as well, not just here. Okay. The guy says to me, he says, I can tell because I'm a programmer, I can tell if the job I'm working with is better than the job this other person has. Okay. So he sends out a text message or an in-mail or some email, whatever, and he doesn't get a reply. Well, don't you send a second message to that person and say, look, I can tell from what you're doing. I'm a programmer myself. I can tell that what I've got for you is really good. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you do that?
I got massively better at that, like approximately half a year ago, maybe a little bit.
I don't care about the time frame. Okay.
I didn't do this before. Like I was a more like complete idiot. Like I was like, what? Like I am so stupid. I should have like spent like half a year at Randstad or some company and like really learn how like they do it and not just figure out everything by my own within like 5 years or so. I'm really an idiot to like do everything like by my own and do all the mistakes I could have avoided.
So you would say, I thought it was Randstad, but it's really Randstad. Yeah,
whatever.
Okay, yeah, for anybody. I'm never going to say Randstad because I don't talk like that. Okay, I don't like it when they tell people in North America, oh, you're chauvinist, oh, you're bad because you don't use the same names as people use for their own cities. Well, I never, in France, they don't call London, it's Londres, okay? Because I learned a little French. I'm in Canada. French is our second language. I can't speak it, but I know a little. And they call England Angleterre. They don't call it England, okay? So don't tell me that because I say Randstad instead of Randstad, there's something wrong with me, because there's not, okay? Now, here's the thing, Ivan, okay? We're knuckling down. So you find a bunch of people, it sounds like on GitHub or LinkedIn or maybe Stack Overflow. I don't know what you IT guys do. Okay. So, and then you contact them, and they're not all people that you know through the meetups, right? There's some strangers. Okay. And so if you don't get a reply, then I don't even know what's in your original message. We have to find out. But if you don't get a reply, you do go back now, even though you were stupid before, you do go back and you say, look, I sent you a message. I think I'm a recruit. Do you ever say, I'm a programmer myself. I can tell that the position I'm working on is likely to have something to offer you. You don't have to say for sure. You can say, you know what, I really suspect that there's something there for you. And maybe you can even say, this is why. Are you able to do that? Because, I can't do that. Are you able to sell like that? Because that's a great way to sell. I admire these people with functional experience. I keep thinking that this is what they can do. But you know what? When I ask any other recruiter, they say, no, I am a great recruiter. I don't have to have any functional experience. I got to have the right personality and know how to, the moves. So you tell me. That's what I'm trying to establish.
I think it's like just helps, right? This like experience being in the field. I think it's normal actually with like recruiting in design or law. I believe I saw that a lot, that people were like a designer and then they became a design recruiter, lawyer, law recruiter.
No. Let me narrow it down. I'm,
Sure.
you know what? There's nobody here today except me and him, which is fine. I'm having a good time. I'm not even having to look at my notes. I got lots to talk about, everybody. You don't have to listen to this. I don't have to worry about you. No one's paying me to do this either. Usually there's a few bucks there, but not for a long time. Anyway, so here's the thing. Do you persuade somebody? This is, I think, the key. Do you persuade somebody who says no? Does the sale begin when the customer says no? You have enough information to persuade somebody. When you send out one of these messages, I want to know what's in your message, but when they don't reply, do you send out a second message and say, this is what happens? Do you persuade? Do you ever turn people around who say no?
So basically, I do send a second message with additional information, right? So like, okay, the first message is like, okay, so basically, you're a Python developer. Here's a Python startup. Are you interested? Second
What's
one
the subject line? Oh, what's the subject line?
The subject line is recruiting animal, comma, happy at recruitment for whatever Acme org or something. So happy. So Marcus, are you still happy at XYZ company?
And where do you send it, to his personal email or his?
I try.
How do you get his personal email?
So there's like a bazillion tools.
Which
and
ones
also,
do
I actually
you use?
wrote my own tool. Like I wrote my own tool for GitHub, especially specifically for what else?
Is it good?
Well, it does the same thing like all the other tools do. It's not.
What percentage of personal emails does it deliver you? What percentage?
That's a hard question. Not that. I mean,
here he's bragging. Okay, you think for a second. Here he's bragging that he came up with his own tool to find personal emails.
I don't know if it's good
how many does it find? He says, I don't know. It's a hard.
No, it only finds it if the person like wants it to be found. Let's say.
Okay, so are you sending? You're sending your messages through channels, okay, like LinkedIn, or that's got an established email channel inside it, right? Okay, and it's but not to their work emails. You never send it to their work emails. Is that right?
No, I don't think that's usually like things that like some people do it, some people don't. I think
you do it. I'm asking about you. I think it's legitimate, everybody, but I see endlessly on Twitter people saying this goddamn recruiter sent me a message on my personal on my work email, and then half of the others they're saying, oh, he's so intrusive. He sent me an email on my personal email. You can't win with these people. I'm asking what you.
So it's definitely then different. So that's a thing. Like I really like look at the company, and then it's not like a follow up or stuff like that. So definitely it's a then different, like a different approach. But sometimes I need to do this because there is no other way, and the person is, for example, like,
you know what?
Awesome,
I'm sorry, everybody. I'm gonna have to have this guy back because I'm going on, and I don't seem to be.
To cover
I don't
so many
seem to
things.
be getting. You're not picking up on my drift, okay? You're not saying recruiting animal. Let me tell you my sales process. This is my subject line. Okay, I approach people, you know, either through their work email, sometimes personal email if I can find it. Otherwise, it's through a platform, the communication channel that the platform like LinkedIn provides. In the subject line, I put the name of the person, ask him if he's happy where he is, and then I just have a simple message in the body that says, I've got a Python position or whatever kind of position is. I think it might be of interest to you. Let me know. If they don't reply, he adds more information, okay? What I've been trying to dig at this whole time is because he's got functional experience in the field, you know, does he start really selling and handling any of the objections that he imagined might be there? Does he because he said at the beginning, he can tell if a job he's working on is better than the job the person has. So does he use that information? That's what I wanted to know. I'm going to give up, okay? Because I've been struggling for maybe 15 or 20 minutes to get an answer to that. Okay,
next.
Yeah,
the answer is yes. So yes, that helps a lot. It helps a ton.
No. Yes is not an answer. An answer is how, this is how I do it, okay? This is exactly how I do it, okay? If you ever come back on the Recruiting Animal Show, you'll know, okay?
So I think the person with me feels more like talking to another programmer friend than with like somebody that sells. So with me, actually, I try to go into this mindset sometimes. Like, okay, if I would be like a random guy, like this friend. So for example, the person is like, okay, should I change jobs or not? And then I'm thinking, okay, what if I would be like a buddy of him? What would I tell this person, right? And this is how like you establish a real conversation and you give the person true points about like changing career. I mean, I had people who were like in abusive relationships with their firms, like horrible workplaces. And they're like, yeah, no, I can never leave because I make so much money here, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, okay, you really do them a favor in this case to like go to another place, but they cannot because they're like stuck like with, with a spouse that beats you and stuff. And then you're like, okay, then you can like name this 50 things that you only you can say if you have been your programmer yourself. And the combination with like to be with like positive personality and all this together, I think helps people to understand the situation better.
If you would have said that 15 minutes ago, I would have started asking you for details now, okay? Because you made a general statement. The rule here is general statements are not enough. You have to support what you said with evidence. Moving on. Hey, we're 45 minutes into the show already. We're not going to get a lot of details, okay? You agreed on Twitter with someone who said that candidates, especially senior level people, make unrealistic salary demands because they don't understand that the company has to make money. They're not thinking of the bottom line. I was shocked. Senior people, even they don't know that? What's going on?
Some of them are absolutely, it's like you talk to children, like literally. It's like, as somebody answered that they think like, okay, I have this 1 million expenses and that's why like my salary needs to be like 20% higher in a job change. And this is like a rule like gravity. It must be like this. And they are like, I'm like, okay, look, here in Zurich, like the big banks, they used to pay like 180K 5 years ago. No one pays that anymore because these jobs are gone. And this person is still stuck in this mindset that there are people making 180K. And I'm like, look, that doesn't exist. So they're not up to date with the market and request like insane things. And I, of course, like try to like tell the real situation. And they think, this is just a recruiter. He just wants to sell me stuff. And I'm like, no, like if, I mean, it's a fight with some people, but some people are reasonable. Like luckily, the most people are reasonable, but some are like insane in their head.
If this person says you're just a recruiter trying to sell me, you're not thinking of me. You're only thinking
nobody says that, never said that to me, but of course I feel it sometimes.
Well, you could actually air it for it. If you feel it, you could say, look, you might think that this is where I'm coming from, okay? But I swear to you, I'm not, and here's how I'm going to prove it, so you can trust me. And then you give them the evidence. Do you have any market information about salaries, about where they would rank? Do you use any kind of evidence like that to sway people? Yeah. Give me an example. Okay, I just want to put this through your head for the next time. You'll come back, okay? I like you, okay? But you don't have to, but but it's give evidence, give examples. Recruiting Animal is going to scream at me if I don't explain. The generalities I can't use generalities. I'm dumb, okay? I'm like the hiring manager tells me something for 5 minutes. I need him to spell it out. And that's what I need from the guest here as well. Okay. He says, I want to double what he should be earning. I have to prove to him that no, he's never going to get that. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you ever try, do you go to payscale.com or some other?
No, I just tell, hey, look, the last 20 people I talked to, they make like 120 and they speak German. You don't speak German, you now make 145. Yes, but that's because your contract is like a body leasing contract, which means you can be fired any day if you want now, like a normal job with a 3 months notice period, like it's normal in Switzerland. You have to go for like 120K. And the person's like, no, I make 145. Like I should be making like 150 in my next job. I'm like, you are now in a different situation and the like market is just different. It's like 120. And the last 20 people I talked to is this. I never do the pay scale stuff. because the market here is very small. Zurich is a very small city, 500,000 people if you count the surroundings. Basically, Switzerland totally is smaller than London, only London, right? It's a small place. So the pay scale and greenhouse or what, glass door, it doesn't work here because you have huge variance in the salaries.
Yeah, but here's my point. Here's my point. You're telling the person, again, something very general. Oh, the last 20 people I spoke to, that's what they're earning. He doesn't know if that's the truth. You need some objective point of reference. Obviously, you're not giving that. Okay, that's the answer to the question. No,
because it doesn't exist.
He doesn't believe me. I'm washing my hands. Screw him. I'll move on to the next person. Okay, look, we're running out of time, and we didn't talk about much because I was trying to nail you down so hard on
this
selling.
Is awesome. I love the comparison of the two
selling. I wanted to get you on how you use your functional experience to sell. Okay. So,
okay. I know. Let me tell that. I mean, so like you can just like you can relate to people. You can like make jokes. For example, like okay, they use hey look. Hey, so for example, there was like a researcher position, and I talked to a candidate. I'm like, okay, they look for a researcher, but not like this person needs to know what Git Rebase means. Git Rebase is a programming command that is only used if you program together with people. And in university settings, you often have people who never actually share their code. They never collaborate, which is of course impossible in industry. Like in industry, it's impossible to like, okay, I write my code and not show it to anyone. But in academia, it's normal. It's like, hey, I have this Python script and it's like, you know, doing something and then the person takes the results and publishes on a paper. But this person never shared the code. So my question like to this researcher candidate, like to really filter out the ones that aren't a fit is like, explain me what Git Rebase is. And actually somebody who is not a programmer, I can teach this person to ask this question and like, you know, get the right answer. But the thing is, I like come up with this stuff on my own. Like the hiring manager doesn't like come up with this. They like interview the people, yada, yada. And at the end they find out, yeah, this person actually does, like it's a researcher from academia in some special thing, right? But they cannot code. And I try to make the filter much earlier and say, okay, if I ask this question and they're too dumb to answer this, they never in their life shared code and therefore reject for this role.
Okay, there you gave us one example. Thank you. I had to beg for that. Okay, let me just, thanks. Let me see what the next question is. Okay, okay, you gave a question. You said, well, let me ask, is there something that you want to talk about yourself? I said, think about things that you're really interested in. Before I ask you the next mundane question, is there something you'd like to talk about?
So what's like the biggest, like, is it persistence or like persistence that is most important in recruitment, or what would you say is like the most important quality in a recruiter?
When you say
like,
persistent,
to be like Ross, to be like this Riley who makes so much money.
Who's Ross? Is that Rich?
Yeah,
Rich,
whatever, like this guy.
Rich
yeah,
Rose. See, Rich, we're complimenting you. Amy was here. Amy got mad at me on the, she said I misquoted her today. Okay, famous Amy Miller. I make everybody mad at me sooner or later. Okay, and I don't care. Okay, here's the thing. What did you just say? Sorry.
What's most important in recruitment?
Okay, yeah. Well, here that's a question. Is quality of hire a legitimate measure of effectiveness for a recruiter? And usually in quality of hire, they take retention to be assigned, so that you've actually supplied people who are going to be a good long-term fit. Do you believe that retention is a sign of your effectiveness as a recruiter or not? Because Rich, I know, says, hey, I bring them people, they make the choice. I'm not responsible, okay, for a bad hire. What do you think?
I would say, from what I saw so far, I would argue I agree with that. I mean, because at the end of the day, you're not working with the person, so you lack the skin in the game, right? So you cannot really, how can you like be responsible for that? So
the retention is not your issue, not your responsibility. Is that what you just said?
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, I suppose. Get a straight answer? No. Okay. Get a straight. Yeah, animal. That's what I said.
Because I'm so junior, I'm such a junior recruiter. I can possibly say like, this is how it is. Like, ask me in 20 years.
Look, I got to tell you something. Don't go around telling everybody that you're a lousy recruiter. I tell everybody I'm mediocre, but I mean, I wouldn't advise anybody else to do it. Okay. I do it in places where no one's going to see. It's public, but not public. Okay, well, I guess it's the same here. Okay, okay, retention is not important. What other, anything else? Okay, yeah. There was a follow-up on that I can't recall. Okay, you said when you're in a small business, a personal relationship with your clients is very important, or you will be eaten alive by assholes and idiots. He knows all the good English words, okay? What does that mean? And what are you talking about there?
Yeah, because especially if you're like in a small place like Zurich, I suppose the only way, like how you can, so for example, like if there's like a bug on a homepage of a client, right? If I hate the client and they're like this kind of client that is like, okay, here's the job description, like get lost or we don't want to talk to you because we are working with like 40 different agencies. Would I like tell them, hey, there's a bug on your homepage? I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't invest this like 30 seconds to write the email. But with a client where it's like, okay, there's like 2 recruiters, you and someone else, max, and we love you. We like help you out. We even tell you sometimes, hey, this person's leaving. Maybe you help them to find like another job. This happened maybe once or so. Like companies are actually not thinking. They let someone go and they should like tell them, okay, like work with this person or this person. They will find you a job. They don't do it. They should do it more. Or like they kind of help me in like have weekly calls, like 10 minutes about the candidate, stuff like that. So this kind of things is more likely to happen with smaller companies. And then they think of you more. Like they will tell you, hey, we need really now front-end people, and they might not like tell others, right? And then you have like a competitive advantage. So like this is kind of, I don't know, this is important.
I have a question about what you said. Okay.
Sure.
What you said, as far as I understood, if they make the overture to you, if they're nice to you, you're going to build a relationship with them. Then if they're nice to you, you're going to tell them about the bug on their homepage. But if they're not nice to you, you're not going to try to build a relationship. You don't initiate that warm relationship.
No, actually I did that by just like telling the bugs and stuff like that with like a new client. I actually tried to overdo it. Like, tell like, because actually it's like, in a way, I did even things that like kills my own business, right? I tell them, hey, like your job description sucks here and there and there, like, so stuff like that, where actually like I in a way I'm hurting myself, or I'm like, okay, hey, you can put your like stuff on this job board or something like that, where it's like, it's actually killing my own business, like, but I don't know, this kind of felt right in this moment. And then some months later, they might do something good to me, I suppose. Because if you don't do this, then you need to become like Ran, this R company.
I don't know.
You have to become like 40K, because then you need to work differently. Then you have to build like an army of recruiters and do quantity. This is the only way, I suppose. If you're like, you have only these 2 choices, like personal stuff, or you do the scale. You do like, hire a bunch of people.
Okay, I guess we're getting to a final question then. What about all this stuff about building rapport? So you're saying people are always saying recruiting is a relationship business. I never know what they're talking about. So now you've told us with the candidate, with the client, you tell them where they're going wrong and how they can save some money, I guess it sounds like, and attract more candidates without even paying anything to you. That's your gambit. Do you have a similar gambit with the candidates? Do you give them tips? How do you build? Or when you call them up, do you say, hey, did you see that soccer game that was on TV last night? Do you do things like that? Do you try to have a warm relationship with them? A phony, I'm going to say phony relationship, because that's what I believe they are. But do you do anything to warm up your relationship, or is it all business like I believe it should be? Maybe that's just my personality, okay? Other people are livelier, they're extroverted, and they get on the phone with a complete stranger and they can act like, they're his buddy. What do you do?
I think with candidates, if I remember, like think back, with some of them, I developed like a friendship relationship, like go to the gym or talk about something else and stuff. But of course, most of the time, it's like I give information to make like their profile stronger. And sometimes it's absolutely like there is no like of some people are great and they write like reviews, yeah, on LinkedIn. They tell their friends, they like think about me like 10 months later, they're like, hey, I look for a job, a friend looks for a job. They are amazing. Like this is really like super good. They actually make me really feel good when I feel really bad. And yeah, that saves my day if the day is really shitty. But there is candidates who are like literally like, hey, you spent like, hey, remember you spent like 2 hours with me like reproving my CV? Yeah, I got like a job because of that. And I'm like, okay, hey, can you maybe write like one sentence review on LinkedIn? No answer. What can you say to this person? Like it's
call them back, say, hey, you prick.
Like, yeah, then you say this. It's like unbelievable. They get like a for free service. Like with some candidates, actually, some call, hey, I need like because of course I gave it in the context of like sending them to a company, so it was free of charge. But with some, actually, I do if they say, hey, I need the improvement of my CV and stuff. I'm like, okay, yeah, this costs like this kind of money. And they say, okay, and then I do it, right? Because if somebody from America or so, I will not find them a job in Switzerland. So I do like for, they pay something, I do the improvement of the CV and all this, and it's fine, it's fair game, yeah.
What do you charge? What do you charge for a resume?
No, I don't do resumes. I do like 3-month subscription are $60 per month, and then they can ask like unlimited questions, and then I get them through this. Like anytime they can. Usually they want to like have a call and discuss like an urgent topic. And then I say, okay, you have to sign up for this, like $60 a month. It's like 3 months, and then you can ask me unlimited whatever, and we do everything.
Unlimited is cheap. I don't know how you.
But they don't. But I mean, the point, of course, is that you have like once, like, or I did like once a month, like 30 minutes, and then it's like so it's like a reasonable. It's very cheap. It's actually very cheap. Yeah, I mean, I should, but it's for me the point is because most of the people that ask like they write you, and it's like, hey, can you improve my thing? So I'm either saying, okay, can I use this like on YouTube? So you use this improvement and then post market publicly, or you need to pay for that because I cannot do it for free.
You know what?
Some people would not understand that. They're like, they think I'm a social,
Hey everybody, he can keep talking and I'll talk over him. Okay. 6 months from now, he's going to look back at what he just told me and he's going to say, I was such an idiot.
Please delete. Please, I pay you. Please, you cannot post this anywhere.
I was such an idiot I was charging peanuts, okay? And these guys can't even refer anybody to me. See, we didn't even get to referrals, but I just want to say that that's what Amy and I actually had a disagreement about, okay? I posted something that she said was misquoting her. And that was like, she was saying, she was saying, when you ask somebody to edit your resume, to read your resume and edit it, you're giving them a job. And I was saying, yeah, that's mooching, okay? Don't do it. She said, she never said that, and that's true, okay? But there's people who come to recruiters and they expect us to be job consultants for free. At least you're charging them $60, okay? But it's actually, depends how many times they're calling you, but it sounds like it's worth more. Okay, I want you to plug your book. He wrote the very last thing. He wrote, you know what? I would have plugged it at the beginning, but he came late, okay? You wrote a book, an ebook for programmers about how to manage their careers. It's $35 US. Am I right?
Right.
That's a lot of money. Okay. So, and one thing, he's overcharging, I would say, but does that help? What's it called? How can people find it if they want to find that?
They go on my Twitter, Iwan Gulenko, that's the Twitter handle, or
and there's a link to the book there. There's a link to the book.
Or you actually Google Coder Fit. So coder like a programmer, so Coder Fit coding career.
You have to spell it like if it's a URL, you have to see.
So yeah, so you Google for Coder Fit. So CODERFIT, Coder Fit. Gumroad, that's like the platform where I sell it on. So Coder Fit Gumroad, you'll find.
How many have you sold?
More than I thought. Like literally. So I started the pre-sales, and then people who followed me like ordered it, And then I wrote most of the book in the COVID times. And then there were really like sales, 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 sales. Now it's quieter, but I'm like super happy that I did that.
What's the name of your business? You still there? You're frozen. What's the name of your business? I lost the guy just when I'm. What's the name of your business?
You froze.
What?
Coder Fit. Coder Fit. Same.
Just like it. CODERFIT.com. Okay. Coderfit.com. Iwan Gulenko. He spells it Iwan. Okay. Iwan. Woo. Anyway, I follow him. I like him, and I hope you come back. Okay.
I will. 110%.
Thanks for being the guest. Goodbye, everybody.